Hey, everybody, welcome to the podcast, day 23. There are only 22 more days till we have an election. Thank goodness. It is October 15th. If you haven't paid your bills yet, it's October 15th. That's a little worrisome. I started this in July, so it's been a while. But today I'm going to get into something a little bit heady, a little difficult, but very, very worrisome. And so I want to get this in front of you. Rachel Maddow started this, I think it was 2 weeks ago. Started talking about this guy named Curtis Yarvin and JD Vance's affection for Mr. Yarvin. And Yarvin is an interesting character. So this is going to be a little bit complicated. Some of the ways these nerds talk about things is going to be maybe confusing. I've tried to make this as accessible as possible because I think it's really important. And there's always been in any society, as long as we go back, like we all learned this in school, right? In any society, there are outliers. There are people on the edges looking at our culture, our society, whatever that was, Greece, ancient Romans, Caesar, all those people. Whenever that happens, there are always people who are able to step back and look at what's happening in the collective society. I think that's valuable. And I think the fact that Curtis thought about it is interesting. Like, okay, somebody thought about it. There are always people who think about it. The great thinkers. I'm not sure Curtis is a great thinker. I just know that somebody's paying him to think. So be it. He's we'll wait till you see him. He's special. He looks like a guy who thinks. Anyway, the reason this is important is that sometimes when the outliers make their way into the middle, into the mainstream, weird things can happen. And if the right people get behind the outlier, an authoritative figure or someone with great power, if the other people in power get behind this person, let's look at the oligarchs and Putin. They have a mutually beneficial money relationship. And if you do something wrong, you get to go flying out a window or you get poisoned. But basically, if you help Putin stay corrupt, you get rewarded with financial gain. So you can have a big yacht that somebody can seize and hold for your bad behavior, whatever. I'm sorry, being really sarcastic today. But let's get into what happens when you bring in someone like a Curtis Yarvin in with a lot of money, like from Thiel and Musk, and you find the man willing to represent. And let's be clear, from the beginning, JD Vance has never been his own person. For whatever happened to him, whoever he is, it's almost like I am not a therapist, so I can't diagnose, but it's almost sociopathic in his ability to become whoever he needs to be to get to the next place. Like he became a husband because he knew he needed to become a husband. But then he married a woman of color who's clearly really smart, but he doesn't treat her like that. And then you have his children who he can't embrace. I'm talking about JD Vance still. He cannot talk about his kids in a way that sounds like a father. It sounds like they're his property or something like that. Anyway, my point is JD Vance has never been much of a person that's his own person. He is absolutely willing to do whatever needs to be done for him to get ahead or to have a position of power. So that's why this is so important. And I just got an argument with Twitter with a very nice person. She was very nice, but she absolutely doesn't think 2025 is any part of MAGA. In fact, they've done such a good job of making everybody think that 2025 isn't a part of MAGA, except that MAGA has no policies. Trump has zero policies. The man is incapable. All his blathering right now, those aren't policies. But some of the things he is talking about do come from Project 2025, like the insane level of racism is from Project 2025. But let me slow down. Here's what you need to know about Curtis Yarvin. Let me take you through this and see what you think. I'm very interested in any feedback you have. So imagine if a small group of billionaires and political influencers wanted to reshape America by abandoning democracy. So imagine the rich and the powerful want to reshape America, but they don't want it to be a democracy anymore. That's exactly what people like Curtis Yarvin, JD Vance, and Peter Thiel are working toward. So this is important because Trump isn't in this, because Trump doesn't matter. This is so important. And I don't think people are catching on. Guys, he's effing old. He's sick AF. He's sundowning all the time. The 38 minutes of him just floating on a stage last night was just bizarre. And it's bizarre because if your event's going sideways, you fix your event. You don't just I don't even know what he did. He just like shut down. He didn't have, there was not an ounce of leadership in him. Let's put it that way. So this is a Trump-free zone right now because Trump is irrelevant. And that is the most important thing you need to know. Trump doesn't matter. Just doesn't matter. Just doesn't matter. He doesn't have power. He doesn't have authority. He certainly doesn't have knowledge. He doesn't have any smarts whatsoever. The people that have all that are the Heritage Foundation, the Federalist Society. They're the people pulling the strings, guys. I'm telling you, Trump's going to get arrested. Trump's going to disappear. He's going to stroke out, whatever. Something will happen to him. So if he were to win, it's a short win for this guy. He's going to disappear and they're going to disappear him. And I'll tell you this, Tucker Carlson started talking about Trump being assassinated in the spring. Stupid me, a little person of one, jumping up and down because he put it in a tweet. He said, Trump could get assassinated. Nobody had said that before. And then all of a sudden it started happening. So I think actually they plan to assassinate him, just not before the election. But I think the plan is for sure going to make him disappear. And it would not be hard to get him to stroke out. It just wouldn't be hard. All right, so let's go. Known as a leader, here's the first new word. Known as a leader in neo-reactionary thought. Neo, meaning new, reactionary, meaning reactionary thought. Curtis Yarvin advocates for a government that looks like a monarchy or dictatorship, where one person, almost like a CEO, and this is kind of the mystery they wrap this in, the intrigue is they try to make it sound like a business. And you know, I have long said, government is not a business. It's just not. It has I have been in business my whole life. It has completely different objectives. Even Rachel said it the other night. Government is not a business. She said it last night. That's important for you to just rock in your brain. Anybody who tries to tell you government's like a business is broken in their head. Businesses have completely different objectives than a government has. So I need you to know that. Okay. So Curtis Yarvin wants one person, almost like a CEO, to make all the decisions. And this might sound like a far-fetched idea, but with tech billionaires funding political candidates like J.D. Vance, these views are getting dangerously close to becoming mainstream. Okay, there's Curtis Yarvin. If you're on video, and this is worth going back to the video and just advancing to about minute 10, minute 8. I don't know where I'm at, minute 5. Go look at this picture of Curtis Yarvin. This is not hard to find on the video because I'm just going to let it sit here. These are not sophisticated slides I have for you today. Who is Curtis Yarvin? He is known by the pen name. Oh my God, he writes under a different name. Mencius Moldbug. Somebody, I should go run a thing. I should get on ChatGPT and see if I can change those names into something else. I don't know what. Mencius, and then the new word MOLD, Moldbug, BUG. Mencius Moldbug. He's a controversial figure in political philosophy and tech. Oh yeah, he rocks in my world, right? Recognized as a founder of the neo-reactionary movement, and they actually have a name for it, NRX, neo-reactionary movement, X. Yarvin challenges liberal democracy and supports hierarchical authoritarian governance. Command and control, right? Like the military. Yarvin believes democracies are outdated and ineffective, and his solution is to replace democracy with an authoritarian monarchy or corporate structure where the country is ruled more like a business. He sees American institutions like universities and the media as cathedrals that shape public opinion too much. Doesn't like education and church. They shape public opinion too much. His controversial ideas have kept, that's by the way, the good stuff too. So the controversial ideas is like, be kind to others, love thy neighbor. So Peter Thiel has been all excited about this. So what is Peter Thiel's role in this threat to democracy? Well, Peter Thiel is a billionaire investor and tech entrepreneur who was born in Germany, but he is now an American citizen. He is best known as a co-founder of PayPal, so he understands money, which is really important, and an early investor in Facebook. So he's wealthy AF. Over the years, Thiel has used his wealth to influence American politics, and he's become a significant supporter of politicians who share his distrust of democracy. I cannot emphasize this enough. They don't trust democracy. Why? His views are rooted in a belief that true freedom means a few powerful people should make decisions instead of relying on a democratic system where people vote and influence the government. You don't like that you get to have a voice. No, no, no. You're not wealthy. You're not powerful. You don't get a voice. Thiel has even said that he believes freedom and democracy are incompatible. I don't know how that works because he wants to be an authoritative leader that basically strips freedom away. So I don't understand how freedom and democracy are incompatible. But you know, he's rich. I don't know if he's smart, but he's rich. And you cannot ever, don't ever associate wealth with brains. No, that's not how it works. I've worked in the business too long. Brains are not necessarily rewarded in the tech industry. No, they are not. So Thiel thinks democracy gets in the way of true freedom, especially for people with wealth and power. There you go. Now you're getting why they all moved to crypto. I got a blog for that. Now you get why they want to convince all of us to just shut up and go along. Thiel uses his wealth to undermine democracy. With his significant influence, Thiel has funded politicians like J.D. Vance who agree with these ideas. And in 2022, Thiel spent $15 million of his own dollars helping Vance win his Senate race in Ohio. So Thiel, basically a carpetbagger, right? He's a German expat who's now an American citizen. He's come in and decided J.D. Vance needed to be the senator for Ohio. J.D. Vance, by the way, has been a shit senator. No legislation, barely votes. I don't even know if he's voted on anything. J.D. Vance doesn't show up in Congress. He's out busy doing what he's supposed to be doing, which is Thiel's job of trying to get power players to believe in this, what do we call it? NRX, neo-reactionary movement. He wants Vance's basically Thiel's bitch. And if you think anything else, you're crazy. Vance's bread is buttered by Peter Thiel. It's just no other way for you to understand that. It's so clear. So with Vance as Donald Trump's running mate, Thiel's influence will reach even further if Trump wins. And that's why Thiel and Elon leaned in on Trump to pick Vance. They said, we'll give you money. And Trump doesn't have money. So they said they'd pay. And that's how he got Vance. I don't think Trump would have picked Vance if it weren't for the money, because Trump and Vance are two very different people. Very different. And I think Trump probably is. If he has any self-awareness, he'd be threatened by Vance. But I don't think he is, actually, because I don't think he has self-awareness. So when Thiel's using his influence, hang on just a second, he's using his wealth to put Vance in place. It's not limited to just Vance. He also backs other politicians who share this vision of America as less democratic and controlled by a few powerful figures like a corporation. He's found the other politicians, Mike Johnson's all over this. He's a Heritage Foundation guy. He's a Project 2025 guy. They're not saying it out loud anymore because it blew back on them. But Mike Johnson's absolutely one of these guys. And there are more. You can tell by how they post. Thiel has used his influence to showcase an anarchist. In this case, Thiel has raised the profile of Curtis Yarvin, a writer with who we're talking about, the controversial ideas about government. And Yarvin's whole argument is democracy is ineffective and we need a CEO of America. So if you ever hear that language, that's the code right there. CEO, or America needs a boss, or America needs a man in charge, that kind of crap. That's Yarvin red flags. There you go. Getting Yarvin red flags. Thiel's network sometimes calls this, some kind called the Thielverse. Do you know that Thiel has Thielverse, like universe, but Thielverse includes influential tech figures like Elon Musk, who also share a skeptical view of democracy. So here we go. Now we start to see how they're just evil. I don't even know. It's like everybody from a Mike Myers movie came together, and they're not even funny or adorable. Not even. So Thiel leans on his friends like Elon Musk, who is another billionaire tech mogul from South Africa and now a U.S. citizen, another carpetbagger if you ask me, plays a key role in amplifying the democratic ideas and funding the political push to reduce democratic checks in the U.S. So Thiel and Elon are committed to tearing down democracy. And it happens that Musk shares some of these authoritarian leaning views and has recently donated to political groups supporting Trump. So they got Elon. They got him to buy in, and Elon's giving money. Musk's support aligns with Trump and Thiel's circle, or really Vance and Thiel's circle, where a few influential figures back candidates and policies to limit public influence over government. So the whole thing is the rich are trying to fund these elections. They got rid of Citizens United is one where corporations can give money. Elon has a massive PAC. Thiel has a massive PAC. I talked about PACs way back in July or August. PACs are really important. They're not supposed to be able to talk to candidates, and yet these PACs are talking to the candidates. They are working with the candidates. That is an election law violation. But apparently in America, we don't freaking prosecute anything anymore. I don't know, somewhere there's somebody chasing this, but that's what I mean when we all get too bifurcated. I gotta find out the other word for not bifurcated. Spread too thin, then this is what happens. Okay, so Musk's influence is particularly powerful because he owns Twitter. He calls it X. I call it Twitter. He has allowed and promoted voices that align with anti-democratic or authoritarian ideas, and he controls the social platform in a way that's reshaped public conversations on democracy, freedom of speech, and government accountability. He's dialing up the nonsense and dialing down the pro-democracy stuff. There you go. And yes, I do give him $7 a month, but that's only right now while I'm doing the podcast. And really, it's my donation to Harris. So there you go. That's what I know it's going in his pocket, but I feel like it's my donation to Harris. Under his management, X has become a platform for conservative and right-leaning views, making it a tool to teach millions with messaging that questions democratic norms. At the same time, Musk has also been a significant backer of pro-Trump. Oh, I forgot. You have a picture of Elon just for you. I didn't advance the slide till now because he's so scary looking. Under his management, Musk has also become a significant backer of pro-Trump initiatives, and he has committed millions to Trump-aligned super PACs. I don't know how that's going. He had committed to a monthly donation, and then I think he pulled back on it. It may be that he decided Trump was the wrong investment, although he has shown up at his campaign now, but his investment's really in JD and in Peter. That's why Elon's showing up. It's not because he likes Trump. Trump's an idiot. Look at how different Elon was with Tucker Carlson, which they were like overgrown schoolboys. Then you see Elon with Trump, and it was basically kind of hostile and prickly. Yeah, he doesn't love Trump, but it's his path to getting to where he wants to go. And Elon wants to be powerful. Trump has promised him a job in the White House. That doesn't scare you. I think he could have promised him a job with money. Horrifying. Okay, so Thiel's latest political effort is Project 2025. So this is where now you gotta face it, guys. Project 2025 is so legit. Thiel is pushing for Project 2025. Elon's pushing for Project 2025. Why? Because Project 2025 is here to end our democracy. It's not going to end with a bang. It will be with a whimper, but it will be a series of very painful, it will be more like wailing is what we're going to see as they slowly and sometimes quickly dismantle our republic, because that's their goal, the end of the republic, the end of America as the grand experiment. Okay, so Thiel's putting this money into Project 2025 because it's there to reshape the government by firing experienced civil servants and giving unchecked power to the president. And again, the president being J.D. Vance, not Donald Trump. Just got to remember that. This program aligns with Yarvin's RAGE idea, which stands for Retire All Government Employees. You know, here's the deal with ideas. I could sit down and come up with wackadoodle ideas, but I don't know if I'm going to get Peter Thiel to pay attention. But if you are crazy enough, you can attract crazy. I want to try that. I might try that after election. Maybe I'll go practice being crazy as opposed to what I do daily. If Project 2025 happens, it will give leaders more control over the government, making it function more like a company where a single person, like a CEO, makes major decisions. Through his wealth and influence, Thiel is shaping a movement that aims to give more power to a few, reducing the role of the public in deciding the country's direction. They don't even want elections, guys. They really don't. They want to just decide by committee. Whose turn is it to be chairman of the board? Who's chairman emeritus? Who's going to sit around and just tell us how smart they were once? I mean, I've seen these boards. Oh my God. Okay. So why should regular democracy of Americans worry? Well, here's the deal. Yarvin's ideas are shared by powerful men like Vance, Thiel, Musk, and he was once dismissed as an extremist, but now he's influencing mainstream politics. Vance's proposed purge of government workers and disregard for election results show a willingness to abandon democratic principles for power. Remember, Vance has said he won't certify the election. He doesn't feel like he's not going to certify an election. That's if he were vice president. He's already said he's checking out on constitutional rules. He doesn't care. So you need to understand that when Vance cannot say that Trump lost, that's because Vance doesn't care about elections. He just doesn't care. He gives no fucks. And we have to understand this threat. It's a big deal. The idea of a late republic, that's what they call it, or end of the republic, means they believe America is in its last days as a democracy. And the movement it envisions after the democracy collapses, a strong leader will rise to take control. This isn't just political theory. These actions and ideas could fundamentally alter our society. Here's his push. I almost just want to have you guys come read it because it just gets me down. He started the no reaction in the 2000s, Yarvin did. Yarvin believes traditional values and strong centralized leadership will lead to a more stable society. He specifically wants to stop public voting and debates, and said an efficient leader should be in charge, making choices for the country without public approval. That's a big one. He compares democracy to a computer that constantly malfunctions. That's kind of funny because normally these guys actually believe in computers more than humans, because humans make errors and computers don't. But he has chosen this metaphor of a computer that constantly malfunctions, arguing that democratic systems often lead to corruption, waste, and poor decision-making. That's the human part, really. It's not the systems part. That's the humans involved part, but okay. According to him, democracy is too messy and inefficient and believes that a centralized style government would be more effective. He sees that the structure of authoritarianism could avoid the problems he sees in democracy where public opinion and elected officials can lead to what he considers poor and misguided choices. Like allowing LGBTQIA people to breathe. That would be a public opinion and a poor misguided choice. This man does not want anyone to be nice to anyone. That would be the humanity getting in the way. When the humanity gets in the way. So he has a blog. It's really a Substack. Oh, no, he has a blog. This one's blog. He has a Substack too, called Unqualified Reservations. The blog is stark and creepy looking, and you can go look at it because I linked to it. Yarvin has shared his criticism of contemporary liberalism, suggesting that it's almost like a religion guiding, controlling public opinion in the West. It's liberalism. It's like using historical examples, Yarvin tries to show what he believes are the failures and dangers of democracy and liberal values. I need to discuss any of those. Liberal values are things that aren't about profit. That's just like what a liberal value is. It's not about profit. Some of us liberals do actually want profit and like profit sharing checks. Those are nice. But we don't see the outcome of our government as being about profit, not our government. That's for business. That's the difference. So he really wants his government criticisms are focused on regulations and technology and suggest technology-driven governance models that could be more efficient. So that's it right there. Strip the humanity out, strip the human beings out of this, and you can then become an automaton and start making decisions about things without giving any credence to context, to who the humans are. We just talked about the Rosenbergs maybe getting convicted, over-convicted, because the people were all caught up in thinking everybody was part of McCarthyism. They were just thinking everybody was a communist. So if that kind of madness happens, what they're suggesting here is it would never happen because we are being run by mechanics. There's no people. It's a technology-driven governance. Part of that bit. He also has a broader online movement called Dark Enlightenment. Okay, that's an oxymoron and both have a paradox. If you have dark, it's going to be enlightened. And I don't know anything that can be enlightened in the dark, except for like maybe literally a flashlight turning on and changing it from dark. But this is this man. He is so, the egos on these guys. This guy's just got to be another narcissist, because only narcissists would think that they're this smart. This movement promotes a return to traditional hierarchy, dark enlightenment, arguing that society functions better when it's led by elites rather than by egalitarian democratic processes, rather than everybody having a fair shot. So in his world, in Curtis's world, Walz and Harris wouldn't even be on the ticket because they came out of us promoting them. We voted for Harris for vice president on the ticket with Joe Biden. So Harris is our vice president, and Joe Biden decided he wasn't going to run, but his partner in crime, Kamala, and he tagged Kamala, and we all said, hell yes. And then she picks Tim Walz, one of the most ordinary human beings and loving men in the world, and we're good. But in a Yarvin world, those two people would never have bubbled up. They would not have been allowed to bubble up. New ideas can't bubble up because ideas are not part of Yarvin's world. His world's all about command and control. So here's where we are. I'm going to just skip ahead because you can read this if you want to get into it more. It's just depressing. But here's the deal. We got to pivot now because it turns to J.D. Vance. And J.D. Vance is activating the Yarvin agenda with Peter Thiel's funding. His money is allowing this to happen. J.D. Vance is backed by Thiel's millions, but he's not just any politician. He is a leader who could transform America into the authoritarian state. And this is what Yarvin and Thiel and Musk are hoping. J.D. Vance has become one of the most vocal proponents of ideas that could drastically alter the structure of American democracy. Guys, tapes get leaked almost every day about how this man really thinks. He openly supports plans to purge the federal government of long-term civil servants, and he wants to replace them with loyalists. And then I have a video you can watch, and it's about, and then I have two videos. One is about this debathification. So Vance has said, and it's a video, that he wants to do this debathification, a program once used in Iraq to remove Saddam Hussein's party members from government, intending to create a government staffed by those only aligned with his political ideology. Now, one of the things that's always been making America great, even though we're screwed up AF right now, is the differing of opinions and the panoply of ideas. It's like the best part of America, right? You have an idea, you can manifest it. Also, if you have an idea, you can discuss it. Like I said, I was discussing this thing with Twitter. I guess I wore her out. I guess I didn't meet her where she was, whatever. I tried. And I knew I wasn't going to really sway a vote, but I wanted her just to think a little bit more, but I think I was being an ass. I mean, I wasn't trying to be an ass. I just think this notion of you just need to think is condescending, right? So it didn't work. But the thing is, I like the exchange of ideas. Even I do. Even though I have really strong values and I know what I'm doing, I like to hear other people's ideas because I could be wrong. Like, I think I posted something about a boat with Nazi flags on it. That's fake. All right, I left it up because my point is, I hate Nazis regardless. Like, I don't care. I don't care if it's fake or not. Nazis have no place in America. Just no. But people are like calling me out. I go, what do you're worried about nothing. This not, you're missing the point. The point is Trump is associated with Nazis. Anyway, that's the deal, is they want to get everybody that reports to Trump, ultimately J.D. Vance, to be loyal, to conform, to obey. That's the most important part. Okay, so there's a video that with his quote about that, but also Vance's endorsement of Project 2025 takes this agenda further. So this radical plan, as you know, wants to restructure the government. And I have a video where J.D. Vance is nailed for talking about it, because ever since, I think it's kind of since the Republican convention in July, might have been a month earlier than that, when people started finding out, when Project 2025 started making it into the mainstream media, and people started finding out what was involved. At first, the Republicans were like all over it. They loved this thing. It was the best thing ever. They were so excited about it. It was almost like Chief Justice Roberts saying, like, I didn't know people were mad at me. Like, they're so in a bubble, they don't even understand what's happening in the country. Well, I think that happened with these Heritage Foundation people. They're in their bubble. They got Dobbs happened, so abortion's illegal. They got great things happening. Trump's running again. There's madness. They've managed to already suck the wind out of the fourth estate, so you don't trust journalism anymore. They've got people fractured and running like crazy. They're loading carpetbaggers into a number of the senatorial races because they just want to go buy the seat so that they have loyalists in place. So Project 2025 is a big part of that. And JD Vance is the guy that's going to manifest it, not Trump. It's not Trump that wants Project 2025. Trump doesn't know anything. He's just not smart. He's not in that part. He's in the part that Trump just wants to win because he doesn't want to go to jail. So Vance's alignment with these strategies tell us that he is fully committed to making this happen and reshaping American democracy and bringing an end to the republic. So look, we need to do some things to just keep our eyes open, okay? I want you to stay informed, understand what these people want, who they are, and what they're doing. And when you see these arguments start to surface where people are talking like this, confront them. All right. Support institutions that safeguard democracy. That's really important. These are all of our institutions. I've done podcasts on them. Go back in the pods, so find them. You can look them all. Just look at my blog list. They're all there. And then if you need that, also you can do it on your own with real reporting. They're not just Jen Keller. And then there's promote voting and election integrity. We have to stand for voting and election integrity this year. We have got to fight for it. We've got to make sure that the Republicans don't get in this and do all the illegal things. We've got to maintain and support Mark Elias at the democracy docket. He is our hero. If we can recognize and understand the tensions of these influential people, we can guard our democracy and ensure authoritarianism doesn't quietly slip in through the back door. So guys, a lot. This is a heady one. I know it's a lot to think about because it also sounds so suspect. Like, it just sounds so sus, but I want you to go do your own research. I've got links in here. Do your own research and you go figure this out. See if it's something that you agree is a real big danger. And we've got to keep our eyes and ears open, guys. This is the real stuff. Thank you for listening. I'll be back tomorrow.